In this lesson, we are learning about selection, also known as decision-making in programming. Selection allows a program to make decisions and choose different paths depending on conditions. Think about real life. Every day, we make decisions. For example, if it is raining, we take an umbrella. If it is sunny, we go outside. Programs work the same way using conditions. In programming, we use conditions to check whether something is true or false. On this slide, we can see two important ideas. First, programs make decisions using conditions. Second, selection chooses different paths based on the outcome. Now let's look at the main topics we will learn in this lesson. We will study if statements, if-else statements, nested if statements, relational and logical operators. An if statement checks a condition and runs code only if the condition is true. An if-else statement gives two possible outcomes. One block runs if the condition is true, and another block runs if the condition is false. A nested if statement means an if statement inside another if statement. This helps programs make more detailed decisions. We also use relational operators, like greater than, less than, and equal to compare values. And finally, logical operators, such as and, or, and not, help combine multiple conditions together. These concepts are very important in programming because they allow programs to react intelligently to different situations. By the end of this lesson, you will understand how computers make decisions step by step. Now, let's understand an important concept in programming called selection. Selection allows a program to choose actions depending on conditions. In simple words, the computer checks a condition and decides what to do next. For example, if a condition is true, the program follows one path. If the condition is false, it follows another path. On the right side, we can see a flowchart showing this process. The program first checks a condition. If the answer is true, it performs action 1. If the answer is false, it performs action 2. This is how computers make decisions in programs. Now, let's look at some real-life examples of selection. The first example is an ATM PIN checking system. When you enter your PIN, the ATM checks whether the PIN is correct. If the PIN is correct, access is granted. If the PIN is wrong, access is denied. The second example is a login system. A website checks the username and password entered by the user. If both are correct, the user can log in successfully. The third example is age verification. Some websites or apps check whether a user meets the minimum age requirement. For example, a system may allow access only if the user is 18 years or older. The fourth example is game scoring systems. Games constantly check scores and rules to determine winners, levels, or rewards. So, selection is used everywhere in real life and in computer programs. It helps programs become smart and interactive. Without selection, programs would always do the same thing and could not make decisions. Let's continue learning how programmers use selection statements in code.